Welcome, colleagues. Let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're bridging the gap between microscopic cellular science and our everyday clinical salon treatments. You know, as beauty experts, we spend so much time focusing on what we can physically see on the surface of the skin. But to reach true mastery, we've got to understand the invisible world underneath. This explainer is built specifically for us, fellow professionals, so we can literally elevate our practice by mastering the skin's microscopic ecosystem. Let's get into it. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at cytology and skin response. Then we move to tissues, which is really beauty's foundation. After that, we'll tackle the skin barrier, followed by bacteria and spores, and finally, we'll wrap up with sterilization protocols. Okay, starting with Section 1, cytology and skin response. Let's zoom all the way in. Think about every single treatment you perform. Ultimately, you're trying to influence the incredibly intricate organelles living inside the human cell. These tiny structures dictate exactly how a client's skin is going to respond to our therapies. They need nourishment, they need oxygen, and they are constantly reacting to the environmental stimuli we introduce, whether that's light, temperature, or advanced active ingredients. It's like a microscopic control center. So for us as therapists, the real VIP is the cell membrane. Grasping its semi-permeable nature is basically the holy grail for maximizing the absorption of our advanced skincare products. Think of this outer barrier as a highly selective bouncer at a club. It protects the cell from the outside world while strictly regulating what comes in and what goes out. If our formulas don't respect that membrane, well, our treatments simply aren't going to penetrate. Now let's see how all of this builds an amazing chain reaction. First, we rely on the mitochondria. And fun fact, they can actually make up to 25% of a cell's volume. They're the powerhouses fueling cellular respiration. That energy is then handed off to the ribosomes, our protein factories, to synthesize the very collagen our clients are always asking for. Finally, you've got the lysosomes acting like a waste disposal crew, breaking down the damaged parts so the skin can renew itself. Whenever we use tools like LED or microcurrent, we are literally stimulating these exact chemical reactions. Moving right along to Section 2, tissues, the true foundation of our beauty treatments. Zooming out a bit, we've got the 4 primary human tissues, and each one demands a totally different clinical approach. When you're massaging a client's face, you're not just moving skin around. You're interacting with the highly regenerative epithelial tissue on the surface, the supportive connective tissue right beneath it, the muscle tissue creating the movement, and the nervous tissue that's transmitting every tiny sensation of touch and temperature back to the brain. As experts, we know the epidermis, which is epithelial tissue, is our frontline shield against environmental damage. But if we're talking true facial contouring and firmness, that magic happens much deeper, in the connective tissue. That's the dermis, the home base where vital proteins like collagen and elastin are actually produced. So when our goal is to improve firmness, we have to explicitly target that connective layer to wake up the fibroblasts inside. And we absolutely cannot overlook the extracellular matrix, that crucial non-cellular space within the tissue. Keeping this area flooded with hyaluronic acid is chemically essential for maintaining the skin's elasticity and fighting off aging. Since HA can hold an astonishing 1,000 times its own weight in water, replenishing it through our treatments is exactly what restores that youthful volume and plumps out those fine lines. Think about what happens when we do an intense treatment, like a deep exfoliation or microneedling. We are intentionally kicking off this specific timeline of tissue repair. First, we trigger a controlled, acute inflammation, just to clear out the debris. That naturally rolls into the proliferation phase, which is where fresh, new type 3 collagen gets laid down. And finally, the remodeling phase, where the tissue rebuilds its structural strength. Knowing this cycle inside and out ensures we work with the skin's natural healing process, not against it. Okay, let's head into Section 3. The microenvironment and the skin barrier. Enter the acid mantle. This is our client's invisible armor, their absolute first line of defense. It's this incredibly specific balance of surface moisture and an acidic pH that literally keeps harmful microbes at bay. If we get too aggressive and strip that mantle away with highly alkaline products, we are leaving our clients completely vulnerable. This right here is why doing a thorough skin analysis before every session is a non-negotiable. We have to actively look for vulnerabilities, things like microscopic cuts, overly moist skin, or signs of a compromised immune system. If a client's natural defenses are down, we risk accidentally inviting opportunistic pathogens right into their tissue. And nobody wants to turn a relaxing beauty treatment into a medical headache, right? Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, bacteria and resistant spores. Let's talk about what's actually floating around our salons. we've got to clearly distinguish between the two main groups of bacteria. On one side, we have non-pathogenic bacteria. These are the good guys, or at least neutral, harmless saprophytes that just peacefully coexist with us, usually breaking down dead matter without causing any issues. But on the flip side, we have pathogenic bacteria. These are the true parasites. They need living plant or animal tissue to survive, and they are the ones responsible for infections and real damage. Scientists actually identify these pathogens by their distinct microscopic shapes to figure out what diseases they cause. For example, the little spherical ones, called cocci, cluster together and cause localized issues like abscesses. Then you have the rod-shaped bacilli, which are super common but can cause severe illnesses like tetanus. And those spiral-shaped spirilla? They cause devastating systemic infections. As salon professionals, we are literally the barrier preventing these from hitching a ride from one client to the next. So here is the million-dollar question for us as professionals. How do we actually defeat bacteria that have evolved to survive almost any extreme condition? I mean, standard surface cleaning is great, but it's just not going to cut it for the toughest microscopic threats out there. And this brings us to a terrifyingly brilliant biological defense mechanism. Some of the most dangerous bacteria can switch from a normal growing vegetative state into a dormant spore form. When they are in this spore state, it's like they put on an impenetrable suit of armor. They can completely shield themselves from normal cleaning chemicals, extreme dehydration, and even standard heat. The bacterial spore is, without a doubt, the most resilient enemy we face in the salon. To fight that, we need Section 5, strict sterilization protocols. Let's look at the data. Most pathogenic bacteria love very specific cozy conditions, around 37 degrees Celsius, high moisture, and a neutral pH. So we have to completely disrupt that environment. By using our autoclaves and sanitizers to crank the temperature way past 80 degrees Celsius, or by using extreme drying and highly acidic or alkaline chemicals, we can essentially shatter a spore's defenses and guarantee it's destroyed. Implementing these steps in your clinic isn't just a suggestion, it's absolutely mandatory. Step 1. Physically scrub off any organic debris from your tools. Step 2. Apply strong, clinical-grade disinfectants to radically alter that pH environment. And Step 3. Use true high-heat sterilization. This multi-step protocol is the only way to ensure that absolutely no dormant spores survives on your implements to threaten your next client. Ultimately, my friends, bridging our deep understanding of cellular biology with absolutely flawless clinical hygiene is what defines true professional excellence in our industry. We are doing so much more than just applying creams. We are actively managing a highly complex, microscopic biological system. And that system demands our respect, both in how we stimulate it to grow and how fiercely we protect it from harm. I'll leave you with this final thought as we wrap up our explainer today. When you head back into your clinic tomorrow, look closely at your tools and your treatment protocols, and honestly ask yourself, are your daily practices truly safeguarding the invisible, microscopic ecosystem of your clients? Thanks so much for joining me today, and as always, stay curious.